Okay. Hello. Okay, it's recording. Okay. Hi guys. It's a week later. I'm actually trying to do per week. I wanted to bring a guest on, but I think I'm gonna have to wait till next week. Yeah. So I think the guest is hopefully maybe gonna be my brother, and we had a really, really good talk, which I'm gonna bring a lot up in today. But we talked about, the election and politics, and he leans more right side, but he is obviously he does identify as a Republican, or he just believes a lot more of the Republican side, but he has a lot of beliefs I think are really interesting, and not in a bad way, but he has actually logic to back it up. And starting off with that, I know talk a lot about politics, but so I could rant about it forever. So one of the things is for me, it's I think I talked about this in my last episode, but as long as you don't shove it, obviously there's stuff that Republicans believe, or more people that are right-sided believe, that I just don't believe, agree with, which is, pro-life. But it's not I don't agree, disagree with every single person, because, for example, my brother is I'm obviously pro-choice, but this, that, and the third. And so, he has some restrictions that obviously, I've said before, it's a sliding scale. And for me, it's having the conversation with my brother is one of the very few people I talk about politics, and we actually can have a good conversation. Is just he knows, he has logic, and if you have reason and logic, I can most of the time be okay, I understand where your perspective is coming from, I respect it, and yada yada yada. So first thing that's obviously happened in politics is Joe Biden dropped out. I think this happened earlier this week. It's Thursday. I think it happened on Monday, Sunday. I think it was Sunday. So obviously, Kamala, who is going to be probably going to be the other running candidate against Donald Trump, as long as the Democrats vote her, but most likely she'll probably get voted. And obviously, for me, if I were to vote, I would obviously vote her, because it's obviously better than Joe Biden, and it's obviously better than Trump. I just feel he's a bad person. Most presidents, not saying they're all bad people, but they've all done bad things, but Trump is just not. He's just saying what people want to hear for the most part. So, oh my god, the cats are chasing each other. Anyways, so yeah. But the thing is with Kamala is this might be really, really controversial, but I don't think she's going to win. I don't think she's going to be president. And matter of fact is because she's a woman, not because she's black. But that's a double whammy, I'm not going to lie with you. And I think as a country, as America, having a woman president just for presence, just for anything, if you look at any other major countries, top countries, their president or whatever it is aren't women. And it's not because I feel that a woman couldn't do the job. I just think that Kamala she's very smart, she's very intelligent, and I just don't think she has the stone cold heart and the ability to kind of not care what other people think. And that's the only issue that I really see is a lot, I feel she can make a lot of change, but I just generally think that, especially after, I think America is very big about raw America, we're scary. We're scary. And I think after Joe Biden's last 4 years, nobody's scared of us. And that's not good, in any aspect. Whether it's for war, whether it's for military, whether it's for resources, because Biden is, in a lot of his presidency, a lot of what I'm seeing is giving, and not a lot of taking, which obviously you do want to have a balance between those. And personally, I just believe that we're not a scary country. And I'm not saying scared, oh, we're gonna send bombs, obviously no, but at the same time, as a country, we need to, but I'm not saying, yeah. So it's not that I wouldn't want Kamala to be president, and I think that she would make a great president. I just don't think for how America is right now, I don't think she aligns of, I think she would run a very, not very similar, but she would, for example, give a lot of aid to, Gaza, and like give a lot of aid to Ukraine. And obviously, I think that's great, but obviously America's going to get involved in everything. We obviously know that. But I also feel like it's kind of hard. It's a bit too much, if you ask me. I don't really know how to explain it without saying, oh, we shouldn't give these people who are dying, over there, like, aid. Like, obviously understand that. But at the same time, us giving them aid, like, if we say, oh, we're going to do something if you do this to Ukraine, like, but they're not scared of us. And so that's a lot of the issue. And I think a woman president can be great. I'm not saying women can't be president, but it's very, very, very hard to create the liking. And I think a lot of the younger generation will win her vote. And people that were just diehard Joe Biden fans will obviously win her vote. And I don't know. We'll see what the polls are. I just genuinely think Hillary, I feel like was a bit more stronger for the role. And I'm not saying Kamala is not strong. I'm not saying that, like, she's a great person. I think she's great at everything she does. I think it's just hard for me to see her in a president's role, being as, stone. It's just harder. And I also think that for America, it's just like, it's hard for them to see a woman in that position. It's already hard for people to see women as that. And I think that, maybe it'll be a great thing if she does win. It will break that, stigma and stereotype of, like, a woman can never be president. But for me, it's just, like, I think if she does win, it's going to be a bit harder for people to start to like her. Like, when, Trump, all the Trumpies or Republicans, whatever, stormed the Capitol because he didn't win. And I think that if Trump were to lose to her, I think it would happen again. I genuinely think something like that would happen again. Because not only is she a woman, and she's black. And that's just the matter of the fact. And I think it's gonna be hard. And obviously she doesn't have to be like that by everyone, but when, millions of people have these beliefs, and it's a very hard thing to happen. Another thing that I want to talk about is the fact that people really, I don't think, this is like one thing that really like irks me, is obviously the president is a very important person. They run America, but they're not the only person. That's the whole point of, our three branches, is having that balance. They're supposed to, balance each other. And as much as people say, like, oh, the president has a lot of power and, they can do anything, like, in some aspects, yes, that's true. But, like I bring up again, like, Roe v. Wade wasn't overturned by the president. It was overturned by the Supreme Court. And obviously the president does still have some, like, matters and aspects to it, because obviously Trump is pushing, if Trump is, or Biden is pushing, people in their party into the Supreme Court, and they overload it with Republicans or Democrats, obviously that's going to help leaning it to either side. It's the same thing with Project 2025. Like, obviously Trump wants this to happen, so obviously he's going to advocate to have, push for it to happen, but that doesn't mean that these are just going to get passed. And obviously I don't think Project 2025 is great. I think it's very bad. I think America, especially, just, many people want to take a step back in history. Not sure why, not sure how. But yeah, so it's just kind of like a wait and see. And obviously, I think it would be easier if Trump was elected to push Project 2025. But Project 2025 could still happen. Like, if Trump didn't win, like, he could still advocate. He could still push for these things to happen in Congress. He can still push for these things to happen, Supreme Court, in the House, and yeah. So it's very, yeah. I think a lot of people that say stuff just kind of read the headlines and they're just like, ooh, I like that, and that's it. another fact of not that I don't, because personally I think Trump is a businessman. He's a billionaire. We all know that. And I think economically, Trump can run America better. I genuinely think he can. And that is because he knows money. He knows business. He's for the business people, which obviously in some aspects isn't good. Like obviously Project 25, no tax breaks for the top 20. Like, yeah. So obviously, but personally, he economically is better for America. Now, he's not a good person. Obviously, we know that. He's done things, and I think all presidents have done things. Politics in America is very, very, very fishy, very, very sneaky, it's just a lot. It's politics. But Trump is a felon. And, well, I guess technically, under whatever this from, passed, but, he's said awful things, done awful things. So I think that it's a very slippery slope for the election. Okay, sorry. I lost my train of thought. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, it's a very slippery slope, and I think it's something that people do have to grasp with. We'll just kind of see what happens. Obviously, I think stuff will break out either way. But it's just a very slippery slope that I think a lot of people don't realize. Yeah, I don't know. I had another thing I was going to bring up, and I totally lost my train of thought. Yeah, I don't know what I was going to say. But that's the election. I can't vote, but, it'll be a sight to see. We'll see what happens. Another thing that's happened is Gypsy is pregnant. I don't know if I talked about that last time. But Gypsy is pregnant. But apparently, she lives in Louisiana, I think. Apparently under, the legal rights and legal law, she has to put Ryan, I think his name is, her old husband or, ex-husband, on the certificate, the birth certificate, because technically they're still married or, something like that, which is, crazy, because I feel like if you're not the father, you shouldn't be on the thing unless, if it was the opposite way, you know what I'm trying to say? If, let's say, she knows, okay, he's not the dad, he's not the biological dad, but the dad was out of the picture, or whatever, I think, obviously you put the biological dad, if you, you're not, yeah, so you put the biological dad, and then and let's say, he left as soon as he knew he was pregnant, or, he just left your life, you put the biological parent, but then you put, the other parent. I don't really know how that would work, but I feel like that's just kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's really, Gypsy's whole story, I remember what I was going to say about it after. Gypsy's whole story is just very interesting. I like to follow it. For me, it's just, I don't know. But the thing I was going to bring up is it's not a court case, but it's, the case of the woman who was in her house and she called 911 and the police, shot her because she had a boiling pot of water. I'm not gonna lie, I forget how to pronounce her name, so I'm gonna try to find it on Instagram. But oh my gosh, I'm forgetting what her name was. People have been posting it, and it's just I don't know. Oh my gosh, okay, I don't know her name. I forget her name. I don't know why I'm forgetting it. It's I'm actually going crazy. Oh my god, that's why, because I'm on, okay. Anyways, but for me, it's very interesting. I think it's hard for people to do this, is to kind of take a step back when looking at the news and stories like this, because it's, it's hard, because for me, the way I've kind of grown, and I don't know if this is being around other people, I don't know, but the way that I've grown to, kind of see these things is, obviously, if the cop was racist, and he was a profound racist, he was a, cop that's racist, then, I would see why. It's still an issue, obviously, I'm not saying that, but I would see why it's a really big issue. The issue that I have with the stories that happen with people is the fact that the news pushes this headline and this picture of a white man killing a black person. And I'm black myself, and so obviously I don't, it's not right either way. There was no cause for harm. But looking at it the opposite way, there's so many cases of I'm not saying the exact same thing, but I'm saying things that's happening. There was a case, I think 2023, happened in Maryland. It was a black cop, but a white dude. And, the white dude was put in the cop car. He was getting taken to the courthouse. I don't know where he was taken, or the police station, be questioned or something like that. And the cop, I don't know what happened. I think he said something. I'm not exactly sure. I think it wasn't. But the story same. What I'm talking about is he, turned around and shot him 9 times. But that wasn't headline on the news. No one said, say his name. No one said, justice for him. And that's because, in my opinion, I believe that the news is going to make more money, make more publicity. People are going to like it more if you put that storyline of a white man and a black dude, or a black woman, black whoever. And I think that what's happening with that is not, and I'm not saying that she shouldn't be, she shouldn't have justice. Like, she should have justice. Her family should get justice, should get something. But I'm not saying that it was never, stated as a racist movement. He shot her. And I think a lot of that comes from, especially talking to my brother, he was in the military, he was a cop, is that cops nowadays don't have enough training. They really don't. Because the dude who shot her had already had, 5 or 6 in the last, 10 years, or whatever it was, already had stuff that happened, or, mistakes, I forget what they're called. And so that should already tell you that mistake 1, you need to retrain, you need to rethink, and I think that is why a lot, and because being in a setting, obviously I don't really know why he was threatened by a pot of water, but I'm not saying that the setting is a bit, it's very stressful, and I think that cops nowadays just don't have enough training to actually know, I want to do this job, I would fight, and knowing, how to pull out a gun and stuff like that. And it's just, it's just not right. And I feel like they should have more training. And I think it's a lot of the newer cops that are making these mistakes that are these stories that are being headlined. And I'm obviously not saying that she doesn't deserve justice, but I'm also saying that there's so many other stories out there of it other way flipped around. Or the same thing happening against 2 white people, or a black cop and a black person. But nobody headlines that. No one says say their name when it's a black person and a black person, because you're like, oh, it's the same race. They can't be racist toward their race. But I don't really think the story, obviously I'm not gonna lie, I haven't deeply researched him and everything, but it wasn't a racist cop shoots her because she's black. He felt threatened. Whether that was because he just felt threatened as a person, it could be because of her race. Not 100% sure. No one is going to know that unless he comes out and says that, or he's had, instances in the past where it's he's repeatedly shot for no reason at, people of color. And I think the whole thing that kind of irritates me about the whole, headlining it is the fact that there are so many other stories out there and people aren't getting justice for them, and it's not fair. And I also think it plays this role and it puts this thought into younger kids' minds. Because I'm not going to lie, there obviously is racist cops out there. And I'm not saying that all cops are racist and that all cops are bad, because they're not. And I think it just puts out this image, especially for people who are younger, you know, and they're like, oh, well, cops are racist, cops are bad. If I'm black, I should be scared of the cops. And obviously, yes, I'm not going to say that hasn't been a problem in America, because obviously racism is a problem in America, and I'm going to say that, you know, whether the cop was racist or not, or just whatever was going on, you know, I'm not going to say that hasn't happened over and over again and stuff like that hasn't happened, or, you know, white people feeling threatened by, you know, black men or just like that, or just, you know, speculating them more because they're black, and like, you know, the whole stereotypes thing. And I'm not saying that can't happen. It's just, for me, I don't understand why we're headlining the same, you know, story of the white cop and the black person when there's so many other people out there. A black cop could have done it because he doesn't like white people. Because there are people out there, black people, there are people of color out there that do not like white people. As much as it's crazy to think, it happens. And so, for me, it's just, I hate that kids and just other people are, you know, especially people that don't actually educate themselves about the situation or just, like, stuff that happens. It's just, like, they automatically read the headline and they're like, yeah, like, all cops are racist, yada, yada, yada. And obviously, I'm not going to say that when I'm driving and I see a cop and they're white, I'm not going to say that I don't feel a little bit more tempted, because there are cops that are racist out there and you don't know who is who, and it's hard to, you know, break that idea in the back of your head of, oh, that cop's white and I'm black, like they're gonna think I'm suspicious, because it's not just a one-time thing that's happened. It is a reoccurrence, and it does happen because they're black a lot sometimes. Like, you know, these cops are shooting people because, you know, they think you're breaking into your house, but you live in the neighborhood because you're black and you don't belong in this neighborhood. So obviously I'm not saying this stuff can't happen, but it's just like the stories that we pick to publicize and make justice for is not, it needs more reasoning. We can't, for me, it's just like, it's just not right to, it's not right to push that. And that's just what I believe. Obviously, it's probably very, very, very controversial, but I believe it's the same thing when, okay, for example, I don't know if you guys know, but like on TikTok, there's a girl named like Aubrey White. I think she was like 13 years old, and she committed suicide. And for me, I'm obviously like, you should get justice, because I think she had, primarily people are saying the reason, I don't know, like, exactly, I'm not their fan, like, I don't know exactly, but, you know, there were girls bullying her, you know, telling her to kill herself, like, all of this. And for me, it's just like, I get that. That is horrible. That is horrible to go through. And especially at any age, it doesn't matter what age you are. It's hard, especially in this day and age. I feel like bullying is really past those jokes a lot more. Yeah, especially with social media. So my thing is, why are we on TikTok making it a trend, saying that Crumble Cookie has Aubrey White cookie, or today guys, I'm trying Aubrey White skincare, or oh my god, this is the same dress she wore. And for me, it would be a bit different if it was a celebrity, because it's somebody, they're famous, they're people that they admire, but for me, it's like, why are we making it a trend that she committed suicide? Why? But then I'm also like, why are we just picking on this, not picking on her, but like, why are we, you know, singling out this girl and like, this is why you can't, like, no bullying, like, you can't do this, yada, yada, yada. And obviously I know, like, she also got, like, you know, the TikTok, I think her mom found her notes when she was cleaning out her room and, like, other stuff like that. So I do get why it did create some, you know, publicity, but I'm like, why are people deciding this is the person I want to buy merch for her. I want to buy sweatshirts for her. And obviously, if it's coming through the mom, and the mom wants to, you know, she's raising money for awareness, like, I obviously get that. That's really great if people are buying it, but I'm like, what about the thousands, hundreds of kids who were bullied, you know, passed by and nobody cared? Their parents didn't have the money to have a funeral. Like, it's like, why are we picking the people that are able to post on TikTok and make these things? And I'm just like, and obviously I'm not disregarding, because it's a horrible, horrible thing, and I'm, you know, happy that she has the support from these people, but I'm like, you didn't know her. Like, a lot of these people are views, you don't know her. And I'm like, obviously, I get, like, you want to be sad, you want to be, I get that. And obviously, that's fine because, you know, it is a sad situation. But I'm like, why are we publicizing on that? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And maybe I sound like a horrible person for saying all of this, but it's just like, why are we not? And I'm not saying that, oh, this person, because they're poor, they should get publicity because of it. No. I'm just saying, if we're going to talk about one case, you need to acknowledge a lot of them. You need to acknowledge that, you know, these situations have happened where these people didn't get justice. They didn't get help. Their family didn't get money. You know, and obviously, you know, like I said, like, she did get publicity from stuff, but I'm like, why are we amplifying it? And I'm not saying you can't give her likes, give her support, because obviously that's great. I think it's a great thing. That's why TikTok is great, but why are we posting that she has her cookies, she has a Cane's meal? That's just weird. It's weird. It's not right. It's insane. It's weird for the family. It's weird for the girl. Why are we fetishizing and making her life a thing? Especially because she's dead. It's just not right. And for me, maybe that's crazy for some people, but for me, it's just like, it's really, really weird. And I'm just like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. So, I don't know. That's my take. I don't know. You guys can have opinions on whatever. Let me know. I don't know. But it's just like, for me, it's just hard to wrap my head around it and kind of make it right. So, yeah. Guys, I feel like I should update you guys on my life. Like, I feel like you guys want it to be personal instead of me just yapping about political stuff. So, I'm at 27 minutes. I'm gonna go like 35. So, I'm gonna update you guys on my life. Not that you care at all. But, what's today? It's July 25th. I think I've talked about this before. It's senior year. I'm very overwhelmed already with the stuff I have to do. Yeah. My sleep schedule is horrible. I can't fall asleep till like 2. Even though I'm so tired, I can't sleep. But I also have really bad insomnia. But I go to bed at like 2. And I will wake up at like 7. And I'm like, oh, what time is it? It's 7. I'll be up for like 30 minutes max. And then I'll fall asleep again. And I try to get up at like 12, 1. I need to get on a better system. But it's going to be hard too because I go to Blue Ridge. My class schedule is literally on Mondays. So Fridays for Blue Ridge, there's just no school. So we just don't have school those days. But so technically it's only a 4-day school week. So on Mondays, I think my class, so Mondays my class starts at 12, and I think that's my communications class, so it starts at 12:30. I literally have no other classes, and that's the only class. And then Tuesdays, I have English and, what do I have? I forget how it is, but then I have a class at 11, and then I have, like, 11 to, like, something, or, like, till 12:22, and then at 12:30 from 1:50 to 2, I have another class. And then Wednesday, I have the same class I had on Monday, and then I only have one class on Tuesdays. It's on Thursdays. On Thursdays, I have 2 classes, so I have to go into school like 11, and then Tuesdays is also 12:30, and then my other classes are online. So, like, I have such a chill schedule, which I'm really grateful for, especially I tried to do a little bit more rigorous classes, obviously, but because I think I'm taking pre-calc 2, because I wanted to take calculus, but that wasn't, like, it couldn't fit in my schedule, so I took that. And then I'm taking, like, a communications class that we have to take for our degree. It's, like, a communication / like, public speaking, I guess you could say. I'm not exactly sure. And then I have my Gov and Politics, U.S. Gov and Politics class is online, which kind of sucks because that's, like, obviously my favorite thing. So I would love to have it in person, but it's not. I have British literature. That's going to be fun. I have, joking, I think that's on Thursdays. I think I only have it once a week. I'm not exactly sure. I think so, though. what else do I have? Oh, this is my class I'm literally looking forward to, because we're only allowed to take 15 credits per semester the way they do it, and like each class is 3 credits, so it's like really weird. So and then I'm taking Italian 3 hopefully at my high school. And my favorite class I'm looking forward to is I love philosophy, I love ethics, but I'm kind of not combining them both, but I'm taking a criminal justice and ethics course, which is really, I'm really excited for. I'm so mad it's only once a week, but it's like a 3-hour lecture. And I'm like so excited because like that's just 2 topics that I've always loved, and I think putting it together will be great. And I'm like, and I've heard really good things. Like, it's a lot of work. I've heard from other people, like, you have to write like 3 papers a week, but like I'm really excited. And I'm also just excited for my like schedule to be very college like, because one, it'll kind of give me, and it's actually like I'm taking the classes there to actually give me kind of like a feel of college. Obviously I'm not like living there, so it's a little bit different, and my schedule's really light, but I also like that my schedule's really light because of the cat was like, it gives me a really nice schedule to work on stuff for college, especially being the first semester. So that's why I'm like, I have really like rigorous classes, but like my schedule be pretty chill for the most part. And like literally the way the semester ends is like basically like for most regular decisions, like it'll basically end, like that semester will end like right after. So then my spring semester can just be making sure like I have all my credits. If I want to take like any like I think I need like, not like I don't need any more credits, like I'm fine on credits, but like just making sure I have like my STEM stuff and like stuff like that. And also it's spring. I don't want like a crazy hard schedule just because of like it's spring, like college, like where you go in college, and just like a lot of senior activities and like stuff. But then it's also really great because for college I'll graduate in May, and then I'll graduate high school in June. So it's like I kind of have a month, and I probably won't take like any other classes after Italian 3, which is only a semester. I'll take that in the fall, hopefully. If I take in the spring, it's fine, but I'd rather take in the fall. I think that's usually how it works. Is I kind of have a month, not off, but it's, I really don't have many classes, so I'll kind of just be in my high school doing, like, planning a lot of stuff. So that's why I'm really glad. It's hard to say, like, if I would rather take APs or not. And I think for me, the reason I wanted to go the route of going to a community college and getting the associate's degree, because I could have went to gov school, I could have went to other things, but I just hate taking tests. And even if I did do gov school, I would still probably take APs just because, like, yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. And I just, like, liked that I wouldn't be at the high school. So it was just, like, I really like that aspect of it. Even though I'll still be there. Oh my god, I'm so tired. Even though I'm not that tired. I don't know why they're scraping the couch. But, yeah. But it's literally, and it's so funny because tomorrow I'm going school supply shopping, even though I literally don't need anything, which I don't think I ever told this on the podcast, but so I had a MacBook Pro, and I got it in 2020, like literally 2020 December, or November, December, yeah, I think it was December, so it was like really new. It was the one with like the touchpad, and so that, I have the whole entire Apple ecosystem. As I like to say, I love Apple, so I just got the Air Maxes, headphone Max, whatever they're freaking called. I got those. That was the last thing I needed. I have an Apple Watch, iPad, Apple Pencil, MacBook, phone, AirPods. I have it all. So, like, all of the main things. So, my MacBook was, and is, I don't have it anymore, but is my life and joy. Like, if you know me, like, I do everything on it. I bring it everywhere. I bring my school computer and my thing because, I literally do everything on it. And it has, like, it's just so easy because, like, I can do personal stuff on it and, like, just stuff like that. And, like, our school computer is obviously just slow. And I literally, like, I used it for everything. Like, the only thing I use my iPad for is for Procreate to do, like, graphic design stuff and to watch, like, movies on. But, like, I would literally have, like, if I was working on something, I would have my MacBook and then my iPad. Or I'd have my MacBook and then my PC. And so, it decided to just not turn on, like, a month ago. And I, like, took it to a place and they were like, it's going to cost like $900 to like fix it, and like you have to replace all of this stuff. You have to replace the RAM and the top part, and this is not the third. And me and my dad were kind of like talking like we could take it somewhere cheaper and get it fixed. Like if we buy the parts and they can fix it. But like my dad also was like, it's kind of been 4 years. I was going to have to get a new computer for college. We were going to get a new computer for me for college anyways, like a new Apple one, because obviously it's been 4 years and my dad wanted me to go to college with like a newer one that'll hopefully last me another 4 years or at least like a good bit. But it's kind of sad. It sucks too because it literally came at the worst time of year. Like if it had just lasted me till like next year because of just college apps, like I can obviously work on them, but it's hard to work on them because I like to have it on my personal account and do it on stuff. And I can work on my PC, but my PC is in my living room. So it's just a lot of distractions. So I don't like to work on it. And it's just really nice to have. And so, yeah. But I've picked the one I want out. So we just have to buy it. But they're obviously expensive. And I wanted to, I was kind of leaning towards the Air because they're cheaper. But my dad was like, they look flimsy and they look cheap. And the Pro just has a little more power, which I think would be really nice for college, of just like running stuff. So I think it's like $1,500 for the one I want. So, which isn't horribly bad. I think my dad paid like $1,600 for the one I got before 4 years ago. So yeah, we have to get it, but it's expensive. But we'll be getting that before school. But that's literally like the only thing I need. Other than that, like I want to go school shopping before like all the college students, since we live in like JMU, is coming in, and also just before all the little kids go. But I literally just need like pencils, refresh pens and highlighters, and like 2 notebooks, because like I take like for when I took my 2 classes at Blue Ridge in second semester, I first started taking my notes on paper, but then I was like, kind of like taking them on my my iPad, because when I did like my homework, I would work out the math problems on my iPad, and I'd like do practice homework problems. So I was like, okay, I like could not figure this one out. Like I could bring it back to class and be like, hey, and it just doesn't get lost easier. And it's just like, I have it, why not use it? And I just felt like I was using my iPad for a lot of other things I was doing. And like my iPad also, I use GoodNotes, which is like you pay $10 I think once, and they added like a new update feature to where you can add flashcards. And so it's like Quizlet. And so it literally makes a flashcard set, it's like you can draw anything, you can write anything. So I would use that for bio, and so like I could write the term, and like I could literally have my own flashcards, and I could write anything, I can draw, I can add pictures. And so I'll probably just use that for like my math class and stuff like that. Maybe in ethics, like it's just a lot easier. But I really don't need anything which is kind of sad, because that was always my favorite of school supply shopping. I hated going back to school, and I really don't want to go back to school. But I'm also excited. It's my senior year. I'm hoping it goes by quick because of college apps. I'm like very, very, very stressed for that. But I also know that like once senior year is done, like I have the summer. I'm going to college. It's a different environment. And so, yeah. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm hopefully like 75% sure I'm gonna have a guest on the next episode, hopefully. Yeah, so if you don't already, follow me on Instagram, Mason's Manifesto. It's like Mason _S Manifesto or something like that. Yeah, because I want your input and actually know that you guys listen to these. If not, it's just me ranting to nobody, which is fine, but rather people listen to it. So, but thanks for listening. Bro, it's still recording. Oh my gosh.